Good evening.
Good evening. Namas evening.
Yes, Namas evening. How many of you are here seeing us for the first time?
Oh, and right in the front.
Strap in.
Yes, it's been 10 years.
We will have us some fun tonight.
Yeah, man. You're looking at me.
Welcome. We're all glad you're here. Are you glad you're here?
Yes.
Wow, look at that. Sweet. And so, in keeping with tradition, and those of you who have been here before know what's going to happen next, and those of you who don't, we're going to do a hoo-wee, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to go hoo-wee, and we're going to do that on the count of 3, and then I'll explain why. 1, 2, 3. Hoo-wee! And so, what the angels asked us to do is to notice the little things we can do to make big improvements in our life. What would happen if you hoo-weed at work? They'd have you do the drug test and then have some counseling.
People that come by and stick their head in. Are you okay?
Are you sharing? Whatever that is. Is there any more?
Is there enough for all of us?
You're not going to be hoarding that stuff, are you? So, but the notion is, it's really easy. And by the way, we didn't have to follow that up with all the side effects of a hooey. Side effects like the pharmacy commercial, for 5 minutes they have to talk about all the side effects.
If you're pregnant or think you might be.
Might want to watch a hooey, might start things early, you don't want to do that. So, we're very serious, as you can tell, about everything we do when we're up here. We have a lot of fun. And the idea is that life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be enjoyable. That doesn't mean there isn't going to be stuff in everybody's life, because there is. Wow, they're going right in the deep end. So, you can't feel bad enough to make something good. First thing they're going to start with tonight. It only took them saying that to us every week for 3 years before it finally sunk in with me. So, I'm letting you know. But the more you do it, as with anything, the easier it becomes. You can't feel bad enough to make this good, no matter what you're looking at. The only thing that you feeling bad about will do is drain your energy so that you have less resources to deal with whatever you're dealing with. So what they recommend is we put a different view on and understand that whatever we're facing, we can face it from one of 2 choices, simply. Fear or love. And love is always stronger than fear. So we get to pick. That's what free will's about. And what our choices are about. So they're asking us to think about, for example, we were doing a presentation a few months ago, and they regularly give us acronyms. Acronyms are, they'll give you a word and then letters to go with the word, and the word has a new meaning based on what this spells out. And they gave us one for news. And it was negatively examining world situations. Yeah, it does. And
that's
so they
exactly
said,
what the news is nowadays.
you could look at so many wonderful things. They'll talk about something happens at a school. How many tens of thousands of schools across this country opened and closed with nothing happened? Kids got educated. It was a wonderful place. People were beautiful. Everybody learned, and there were some great experiences in those schools. Are we sharing that stuff, and why aren't we? This isn't about conspiracy or anything like that. It's about deciding where you're going to put your focus.
Because that which you focus on persists.
So, and you can then look at things negatively or not. Katie's actually going to talk about that right now. They just, so you should also know. I'm sorry, we're professional presenters, and that isn't a pat on the back or anything. We've been doing this a very long time in front of large groups all around the country. People come to see us and everything. The first time we went to do this, we did, because it's usually 8 hours of preparation for 1 hour delivery. We did our 8 to 1. It was Belvedere. The first time we came to New Visions, we came to do our presentations, 8 hours worth of presentation. We're ready to go. We're literally walking in the door, and the angel said, "That's nice, but we want you to talk about this tonight."
Oh, okay.
And I said to Katie, they just shifted on us, so is that okay? And she said, we'll do it.
Well,
And
wing
we got
it.
up, but it's not winging it because they give us what to say.
It is winging it. It seems a wing.
That's true, absolutely true.
Boom, boom.
And of course, when it was done, everybody was happy and applauding and everything, and we got standing ovations and people wanted to kiss our hand.
No.
So,
Why, how things have changed.
Oh, how we have
Really?
fallen.
hello. So then we went to the second one, and the same thing happened. We're like, okay, we do our 8 to 1, we're going to talk about this tonight. Go to walk in the door, they said, that's very nice that you did that, and thank you for all your work, but we're going to ask you to speak about this night.
We stopped.
We're educable. After the second time, I was like, you don't have to do this a third time, we got this.
Yeah.
We're going to show up, you tell us what to do and say.
Yeah.
So on the way here, this morning, actually, they said to Katie, we would like you to talk. No, that was on the way here, actually, tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was.
They said, we would like for you to talk about this. Now, I will let you know, this is very unusual, because normally what they give me is in the restaurant before I walk in here. But at 3:21 on Wednesday morning, they woke my happy butt up and gave me one to give to you today. Literally, I had to get up out of bed and write it down. For you. Am I dedicated or what? Do I get a cookie? Do I get a star?
Yes.
I'm just saying. So,
Yes. And he didn't wake me up in the process.
yes, I can be a good husband sometimes.
Yeah.
Aw.
You're the best.
So that's Katie and I'm Tom, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah. Although on the phone, people do confuse us all the time.
Honest to God, because I have this manly voice, don't you know? People say, well, Mrs. Hirt. I'm like, if I talk like this, don't make me mad.
Oh, next telemarketer. Oh, we're so bad. Okay.
We're angel people.
Yeah,
Oh, release that. Find the light and love. Send it to
So, in this country especially, a lot of us were raised with, you focus on what's wrong, and because that's how you improve. When you figure out what you've done wrong, then you can improve. But over time, we begin to be measured and weighed in school and everything else, and our life begins to get smaller and smaller. And we begin to be labeled by things instead of who we are. And so they have been, over the years, been giving us activities and exercises, which I love because I always tell, keep it simple. Give me a way to explain this to folks so that I can understand it. Because if I can get it, anybody can. Okay? And they gave us something beautiful the other night. And we're taught to kind of carry stuff, right? We like to get stuff and keep it, don't we? Yes. And life was not meant to be carried and hoarded. Life is very fluid.
It's dynamic.
Yes, it's always moving and things are always changing. And when we get into this mode of trying to hang on to things, right, that's when we start kind of stumbling a little bit.
Because that's fear. Because fear is about lack.
Yep.
Sorry,
In fact,
I don't mind if I
no,
don't
it's fine. And they've done studies, people who are trying to reduce the amount of what they are carrying on their bodies. What do they call it? Lose weight. When the brain hears that word lose, your body goes, oh, hell no, we're not losing nothing. Right?
Yeah.
It does. Because we equate loss with tragedy, don't we? To the point of, and they've recently been reminding us again and again and again, your soul is eternal. Eternal. You cannot die. Will your body cease to serve you and you will turn it back to the elements? Absolutely. Every one of us will take that walk multiple times in the quest for knowledge, in the quest for learning. That is the point of us having these experiences. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's the whole point. That's the hokey pokey. Left foot in. Oh, that's my right foot. Never mind.
It's okay, dear. You should have seen her giving me directions to a new place tonight. Make a right here. No, left.
Left, left, left. He's like, dear, there is no right turn. Oh, left. Whatever. And so when you remember you're eternal, then you start to recognize, oh, so this isn't a loss. This is merely, I'm passing through this in my life. And that's what we do. We pass through experiences, we pass through challenges, and then come out on the other side and go, well, that was interesting. What did I learn? And we've conversed with enough people on the other side to know that when you get there, it's a joyful experience because everybody gets together and go, what did you do? Oh my gosh, I was an alcoholic and I was this and I got to do that and I got to have people do this to me and that to me. And when we're over there, it's like this rich, amazing experience. We don't see things as negative or positive, it just is. And so when you remember you're eternal, you don't have to try to take it all with you, right? And they gave us something beautiful the other night. So if you
That
were,
would be last night.
oh my gosh, it was. It felt like a long time ago.
We have a lot of day in our days usually.
Are y'all doing that? Is that what?
We have a lot of night in our light and that's all, folks. We have a lot of night
You're
in
making
our
fun of me
night.
with left and right. You can't even talk. But have you noticed how fast time is going?
Whoa.
Anyway, and so this beautiful native guide we have, she said, imagine yourself walking down a creek, right? The water is moving past you because that's life. Life moves past you. And you're looking at the pebbles in the creek and you're picking up ones that you find interesting and pretty, right?
Pretty.
And you're picking them up and you're going along and, oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. And next thing you know, your hand's full. What do? Use the other hand, right? Picking up another one. Oh, look at that one. Isn't that cool? And you're picking up pebbles and you're moseying along. And you got your hands full of rocks, right? And you're walking along and all of a sudden, oh, the skies part. Wow, that's like the most beautiful rock I've ever seen. What are you going to do? What do you have to do? To let them go, right?
In order to,
Pick up the new thing, the new, even better thing. See, that's the other thing. As we go through life, don't things get better? They really do. We get smarter because we have experience.
we hope we get smarter.
Yeah, Holly's just going, yeah, man, yeah, man. Well, if you put it all into perspective, because that's what life is here to do, is to help us to learn and to grow. Yes, anybody can deal with yes. Yes is easy. Yes will not teach you anything. Don't get me wrong, yes is nice
Yes
every
is
now
good.
and then to get a break.
Nice. We like yes.
Yeah, yes is great. But sometimes we have to hear no in order to go, all right, I can do this, right? Because then when you come out on the other side, you're like, whoa, I did it. I grew. I'm a better person for this. We always have 20/20 hindsight, don't we? Yeah, you're supposed to. That means you're learning. Don't look back and go, what the heck was I thinking? Hello, that is your clue that you learned something. So rejoice when you look back and go, what the heck was I thinking? Oh, I learned. Yay, good on ya, because that's the whole point. So we have to be willing to let go of the stuff that's not serving us anymore, don't we? In order to pick up the one thing. Whoa. Oh, I just got goosebumps. This from
That's
a
'cause
girl.
I'm close.
Yeah, that's it. My poor
I'm very
mother,
modest too, by the way.
my poor mother was forever washing and drying rocks out of my pockets. Boy, that was a whoo. Had no idea what was coming down the pike, did I? But I do the same thing with Tom. He's always got rocks in his pockets too, and so do I. So clang, clang, clang. Oh, rocks. But these are nice rocks. These are.
We let go of the other ones to hold these. I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
just so you know. these
Although
are good
I
rocks.
will say, when I travel places, I often bring back a rock because I like rocks. They're just cool. They're bits of the earth, and
Oh, I got a place for you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No. No, just say no, back away.
I'm not gonna place for you.
Yeah. So part of the lesson in all of that is to figure out, what can I let go of? What time of year is this? It's fall. Love fall. It's my favorite time of year. Yes, hence the clothing. So, yes, indeed. And so, what happens in the fall?
Hence the name.
Time to fly south.
Time to fly south. Yeah. It's time to get out before the snow. No. The leaves come off the trees, don't they? Do you know why?
Everything's dying.
Generation.
They're not dying. Those trees are not dying.
They just need to make room for more leaves coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. They are
Thanks
made,
for
thank you for
putting
that.
your foot in there and saying, I think it's this though.
Absolutely.
This is how we learn.
Yeah,
We try
right.
something, we make a mistake and we
Yeah.
learn. There doesn't have to be any feeling bad about
No.
not getting something exactly right the first time, because that's life also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So
the
thank you,
leaves
dear,
are
for doing
dying,
it.
absolutely.
The
Those
leaves
leaves
are
are
dying.
dying. Because what's happening is the daylight is getting shorter. And the leaves' purpose, when they're green, is to make energy for the tree. It's called photosynthesis. And without daylight, the green starts to fade away and it can't make food anymore. So what does the tree do? Lets it go. Do you hear the trees wailing and going, oh my God, it took me all summer to make those leaves. I'm not letting them go. Right? That's what we would do, right? And what would
I
happen?
put so much effort into that, and it took so
So
long.
long, and they're all just so beautiful.
And they're all part of me now, so I don't want to let them go.
What happens the first snowfall? With all those leaves, we did this, about what, I don't know, how many years ago? We had a snowstorm on Halloween. Remember that? What happened?
Lots of
Branches
trees.
falling off left and right. Why? Extra weight. Because the leaves got frozen and then had snow on them and ice. It was too heavy for the tree to hold up. Our life gets too heavy when we try to hold on to everything. We're not supposed to. Birds shed their feathers, leaves fall off the trees. We are supposed to let things go. If we were well practiced at this, we would probably live to be about 150 years old, give or take. Because we would just go, okay, it's not serving me anymore. I learned the lesson, won't do it again, and now I'm moving on. But we don't do that. We hang on to stuff for too long. And so the lesson in the leaves in the fall is to let things go. And then in the winter, I love winter because you go out in the woods and it's quiet, but you can still hear the earth breathing because she is hibernating and waiting for spring. She's going within and deciding, what am I going to do this spring? What kind of leaves am I going to put out? What kind of beautiful mushrooms and little things coming up, ferns, all this good stuff. The winter is important for us. And winter really should be when we do the same thing. How many of you in the winter are like, I don't want to do nothing but sit and drink tea and read a book? Yeah. Hot cocoa, whatever your beverage of choice is, right? We want to just cocoon. But what do? Christmas! Ha! Right? That's why we get sick. We're trying to do too much in the winter when we're not supposed to. Our immune systems are rebuilding from fall into winter, which is why we're supposed to take it easy. And when we don't, we get what's called the flu. It's just your body's way of going, excuse me, we need to rest. Okay. I only get sick when I'm supposed to rest. So really pay attention to nature. She gives you amazing lessons. And letting go of that which no longer serves you is probably the biggest lesson that we can learn from nature. Yes.
So, we're going to start with actually a carryover from the last time we were here. We gave a presentation that was actually quite incredible.
June.
And that's
It was the
saying a
last
lot,
time we were
yeah.
here.
Because we do a lot of these, but that one was really profound in a whole lot of ways. And it's on YouTube if you want to watch it at the store, New Vision, social media, YouTube. And it's the June presentation, they'll say 3 months ago at this point. And they gave us this acronym, and then they built on it for tonight. So the first acronym they gave was forgive. And forgive, and Katie's talking about letting things go. Isn't that interesting? What is forgiveness? Letting go. You're choosing not to hold on to that which no longer serves you in judgment. Judgment is one of fear's tools. Judgment has 4 tools that it uses quite well. The first of which, and when they gave us this and talked about fear, and they said, "Would you like to know one of fear's greatest tools?" We're like, "Yeah." We're thinking guilt, shame, anger, resentment, all these things. And they said, "No, it's distraction." If I can get you to go one click, if this is your path, and I get you to go one click over here, all of a sudden, you're way over here saying, "Wait a minute, how did I get over here? Wait, I'm over there." Second tool, I'm separate. And in my separateness, I get confused. And in the place of confusion, then, I make judgments about myself and these other people that got me off track. It's a pretty predictable pattern. The idea is to become smart about it. And they taught us, you don't learn about the light by studying the dark. You learn about the light by studying light. But it's important to know what the dark uses. And it's not, so there's good dark and not so good dark. This is not so good dark, we're talking about fear. Right? It's important to know what the tools are that are being used so that you can know how to counter them. What's the opposite of distraction? Focus. Right? So you pay attention to what's going on. It's so easy to get in our day and go into autopilot. It's the easiest time to get distracted. Can you believe that person said that to me? I can't believe that. And I did. 3 hours later, you're still talking about this thing that happened 3 hours ago. What's that person doing?
Something else.
There's something else, they're not even thinking about it, and you're still carrying it around. Fall. Leaves. Forgiveness. Is any of this intertwined?
Yeah.
So, just a little, poquito. So, we get distracted. What's the opposite of separate? Together. Absolutely. Union, communion, the true meaning of the Christ message of communion. It's not bread. It's heart union. It'll come out in this word forgive when we spell it out. So I'm over here, and fear would have me feel separate, but I feel union and communion. Instead, I choose to do that. And all these get you back closer to here, closer to here. We know what fear wants to do. This is what I choose. I'm going to focus on my union communion, so I'm staying centered in love where I want to be. And instead of being confused then, what do I have? Begins with C, ends with Y. I want clarity. You want a prayer, you want to ask for something at the beginning of your day, ask for clarity. Much of people's anxiety, uncertainty, all the undercurrent of comes from a lack of clarity. Ask for clarity when you face something. It's one of the most powerful tools you can have. And what was the last one? Anyone remember fear's tools? It separates. You judge. What's the opposite of judging? Accepting. You're just being the best you can be based on your life experiences. How could I expect you to be anything else? And that's when you step into forgiveness, allowing people to be them without them being the way who wants them to be? Right, and what's your role in their life? Unless you're their parents, and even then, that gets to be a transient thing, doesn't it? Because they're only around for so long, and then it's like, how did that happen? As they're leaving the house. Does all this make sense so far? And so the angels have a question for us, and our guides regularly ask us a question. Is anything we have said untrue? Does all of it resonate in love? This is the easy way to use your discernment that you have. You will know them by the fruits of their labor. Faithful. Faithful. And I'm going to hit this pretty quick because we did hit it before. But faithful means in disciplined focus. If you want to find some other words for that. That means I'm staying right here and I have my eyes on the target. Observation. When we observe something, it's different than judge something. This is huge, by the way. You want to talk about finding tools to forgive? Decide you're going to observe and not judge. There being a pinhead, that's a judgment. And it's an observation sometimes. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You know, you just call them and you see them.
Kind of hard to get an expanded mind in there, isn't it?
It's when you put that negative attachment to it that it becomes a judgment. And they suddenly become less than where we're going with this, because wait till you hear where this goes. Faithful observation recognizing. Thank you, I knew that. I was just testing you to see if you knew.
No, if I could spell it.
Now, here's an interesting thing about recognition. Recognition is easier than recall. This is huge. By the way, they gave this to me 10 minutes before in a restaurant when we were getting ready to get 5-10 minutes at the most. We sat down to eat. I turned my placemat over. They had me write out forgive, and the last time we did a Friday night forum. That's exactly how that went down. Okay? This is huge, this part. Recognizing is the easiest way your brain uses to get information back to you. Reader's Digest condensed version, and there's actually classes on this, I know because I took one, on recognition and recall. Recognition is you see something and it has a cue in you that you automatically bring up. Recall is much harder. If you're going to take a test, which would you rather have, multiple choice or fill in the blank?
Multiple choice.
Why?
Because there's choices.
Because you can recognize it. Exactly. The answer is always, that's the difference between recognition and recall. Recall is fill in the blank. Ah!
What was that word?
What was that word? That word is working there. Oh my God. But recognition is key in here because recognition implies that it's already within you. Hence, you're able to recognize it. Faithful observation, recognizing God. The divine flows in you. You know what feeling good feels like. You know you automatically orient to feeling good because it's the wholeness of that which created all expressing to and through you. Faithful observation, recognizing God in virtually everyone. Now, this virtually is curious. The virtually is not like almost. And you know what's funny? When we did this the last time, we actually had a discussion, and David asked the question, Tom, does that mean like almost everyone? And is that why they're saying it because we're mortal and we can't do it? We were on the way home, and the angels, and you can't make this up, said to me, we knew what we gave you. We gave you the word virtually, and it has application here. Look it up when you get home. So I go online, and I look up a wiki definition, and in their definition, virtually means without exception. As in all-inclusive. Faithful observation, recognizing God in virtually everyone. When we do that, we live fully. We understand. Now here's the kicker. Are you ready? Everyone includes you. That forgiveness is about you. That forgiveness is about that person who cut you off. That forgiveness is about the person who at work said or did the mean thing. The family member that continually brings up your past.
You want to know if you've grown?
Oh,
Go home.
not that way.
Yeah. Talk to
Grown as in G-R-O-W-N,
Oh, yeah, no,
not
not that
G-R-O-A-N. Work with me here.
Go away and then come back for a holiday. Woo, boy, will they let you know something's wrong with you. What's the matter with you? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you saying these things? Why? Because you can't be predictable anymore. They don't like
not what they
knew
knew.
you. That's how you know you've grown. When you go home for the holidays after being separated from your family for a while and they just start picking you apart.
Faithful observation, recognizing God in virtually everyone. And here was the big moment the last time we did this. And I got to tell you what, they have stayed with this lesson all the time when we speak, and it will stay with me for the rest of my life. It was only that big. Means when you judge another person, you are judging against God. Because God is in them. When you remember that the divine lives in that person, it sets a whole different spin on how you view the world than an us-them that fear would have you believe. And how we can just judge anyone who's not just like us, not the way we want them to be. And by the way, every one of us has walked a heavy walk carrying this stuff. You're human. It's what we've been taught. It's time to start learning something new, that we bring something new to the world. Does all this make sense? Is anything that's come out been untrue? Is any of it a separation from love?
Now, people can choose to not recognize the divinity in themselves.
And do regularly.
And do
Including
things,
me.
Yeah. Well, no. But and so then they begin to do fearful things on a continual basis. It's because they've forgotten who they are and where they came from. It doesn't mean that that divinity is gone away. It simply means they're not seeing it.
By their free will, they've made other choices. Separation, distraction, separation, confusion, judgment. If you were in your sane mind, confusion, would you ever believe that you were not of the divine? If you were in your sane mind, would you ever believe that you could make someone feel bad enough to make them good?
That makes no sense.
That you can make you, we're taught this, that you can feel bad enough to make yourself good. What? That by making people feel bad and by causing them more pain, we will bring them back to health. Is it possible? Yes. Is there a better way?
Absolutely.
All kinds of better ways than that. True? Okay. Now, at 3:21 a.m., for you all, they woke my happy butt up out of bed, and I had to go write this down. And the first word is your. Next one. Own.
That is a U, by the way, not a Y. No, it's okay. Huh.
Revealing. Sacred. expression. In or by living or loving, and it's going to change what it means with one word change. Because they gave me this and they flipped the word the next day. I knew why they gave it to me 2 days ahead of time so they could work with the living, loving concept. Because it means something totally different when you switch the two. Not totally different, but different. Different enough to merit discussion. So, would you like to hear that? Take on that? Great. Whose? Not just yours, your own. How you look at life, what decisions you make about life, from your understanding, from what you've learned. How are you looking at things? How are you looking at you? How are you looking at others? What decisions are you making by your free will to either bring you closer to love or closer to fear? To create the current in your life, because energy is attractive to itself, that then begins to make situations occur in your life. Understanding this, you are not creating in this field of energy alone. There are certain trains of thought and belief systems out there right now that purport to essentially imply that if it's in your life, you created it. And what the other side has said to me is, well, that would be true if you created by yourself in a vacuum. But we don't. We create in a collective field of energy.
We are swimming in soup.
If you are walking down the street and there's a bunch of angry people around you, did you create the angry people? No. Not unless you did something to torque them off. No, you happen to be there. Now, are there things that have aligned for that? Possibly. I'll go with possibly on that. But my point is, and their point is, you didn't create that. Other people, by their free will, create in the sea of energy that we all swim in together. Together. This is about remembering that we are one.
The other side refers to us as the human being. They don't say plural. They say the human being.
Especially the Christ presence. When the Christ presence is working with us, they talk about the human being. Your own understanding, revealing that which was hidden. What hid it? Fear, distraction, separation, confusion, and judgment. Your own understanding revealing sacred expression, not expression of this world, that which is whole, that which is fulfilling, that which is in alignment, that which brings joy and life and flow and health to interactions with each other and with yourself. Thank you, dear one. Appreciate the assist. High five. Boom, shakalaka. So, your own understanding revealing sacred expression. The flow Katie was talking about. Life is dynamic. That which creates all. Energy changes forms, but the same amount of energy always exists. That's a law. I'm not making that up. But energy changes form. Katie talked about the fact that our bodies will fail us, and our energy will decide that our body isn't serving us any longer. In the past, they didn't have as much trauma around it, and it wasn't nearly as hard because people accepted it and they would embrace it with love and light and understand, my spirit is saying my body's starting to serve me less. I am an eternal being. This is what happens, and be able to release their body without all the trauma attached to it.
And those with them were not left behind because they knew fully well, we can still commune with each other. Just because you're not still in this physical expression does not mean you're gone. And they still connected with the soul of this person, the soul. They still connected with them. It wasn't, it wasn't this drama that we have turned it into.
By or in loving or living fully. Your own understanding revealing sacred expression by loving or living fully. Let's talk about that. Let's choose living first. Your own understanding revealing sacred expression by living fully. What does fear want you to do? Give up. Fear wants you to restrict your choices and your options in life. One of the ways we notice when people who we're working with is in fear is when they start to more further and further hoard themselves from others in the belief that they can or will be harmed in some capacity or have something taken from them. Make sense? Okay. Fear is a thief. The angels gave me that probably 20 years ago. Literally. They said, fear's the thief.
What does it steal from you? Wait, one at a time and louder so everybody can hear.
Hope, happiness.
Hope, happiness,
Everything.
everything. Well, okay. Yeah.
Said-
Energy. What else?
said trust.
Trust.
French fries?
Yeah. Maybe.
Fear stole my French fries. Now we're getting down. You can take a lot of stuff. Don't touch my French fries. I'm losing my microphone here about that French fries.
It takes all the good stuff away, doesn't it? Fear is the thief of all good things in your life. Did you break it?
No.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Matt. He
Your
can
own
fix it.
understanding revealing sacred expression by living fully. When you tap into love, when you tap into your divinity and your divinity, I can speak. This is drug-free float, folks. I want to say,
Float?
woo! I'm just saying, you're seeing a charge.
No more ice cream for you.
Stop
This-
vaping.
What's that?
Stop vaping.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that would be bad if he took that up. Woo.
So when fear has us restrict, love opens us up. When you forgive, this forgiveness here is tapping into the divine for sacred recognition. In who? Yeah, you. You. And you at home who's watching this now. So, this is being taped, just so you know. Your own understanding revealing sacred expression by living fully. That sacredness, you know when you are in touch with the divine, when you feel fulfilled. Try saying that 5 times fast on a Friday night. When you feel fulfilled, what does that feel like? To feel fulfilled.
Amazing.
Doesn't it?
It's like love energy. I don't know. Tingle. Yeah.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
What do athletes call it when they get in that place where their actions just flow? They call it the zone. Are you thinking when you're in the zone? I used to be an athlete. I know you can't tell looking at this now, but I used to be an athlete, and I was a darn good one. I'm just saying. That's true. No brag, just fact. So, when you get into the zone, you're not thinking anymore. You're just present. And you do everything you need to do faster than you ever could when you're thinking. Because thinking, believe it or not, slows you down.
They've done studies now to show that the electromagnetic and electrical field around your heart is hundreds of times larger
Heart Math Institute.
than what your brain puts out. And they told me part of this game of being human is to learn how to reconcile what this tells you to do and what this you feel what to do. And
Actually, it's 60 times stronger.
60?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Which is like hundreds, only different.
In my world, it's hundreds.
That's true.
But it's not, you're not supposed to not use your mind. You're just supposed to figure out how to make these two work together so that this isn't a distance of 1,000,000 miles, right? A happy medium.
That's what we are. We do the connections. We are happy mediums. Yes. Thank you very much. So,
But doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Because when you start thinking, all of a sudden, everything just, oh, I'm thinking this too much. Right? I'm thinking about this too much. That's your mind. That's your brain. That's its job. The brain is doing its job. We see a shortcut, we're going to do this. We're going to be efficient, this is how it's done. That's great for mathematics and things with critical thinking, but when it comes to making decisions about who you want to be in life and how you want to interact with other people, you need your heart. Yeah.
Aww.
so
That's so sweet.
Glad you're over there, because if you pushed me, I'd go right over.
So, I know none of you have ever been angry at someone and said something that you're like, I can't believe that came out of my mouth. That's only me, right? None of you have ever had that happen. Of course, we all have. How does it feel when you recognize that?
Really bad.
Right.
That was she said.
What she said. She said crappy.
Crappy.
You said it very well.
Mhm.
Why?
Because it's
We're not connected. We're not.
You're not connected. You're
connected. Yeah.
separate, confused, judging. Of course you're going to say something that is insane, literally. This is someone you love. Do you know how they got me to stop having arguments with this one? They showed me I was being insane. Not insane like clinically, although if certain
Terrible.
psychologists were watching this right now, they would say, we need to give that boy some lithium. And no, this is... He thinks he's talking to spirits. I am. It's provable. Bring it on. So, so here's the deal with this. When I was having an argument with Katie, and they said, "What are you doing?" Now you have to understand. When I talk to the other side, I talk to them like people, and I said, "You're going to ask me that right now? What does it look like I'm doing?" I'm having an argument with Katie, and I dropped some other expletives in there that I'm not going to use. And they said, "Okay." If you win this argument, what does Katie have to do? She has to lose. And they said, "Is that what you want for the person you love most in the world? Do you love Katie?" And I said, "Of course I love Katie. You know I love Katie. I love Katie with all my heart. I may be mad at her, but I'm not stupid." And they said, "Look at how you're acting. If you win, she must lose. Is that what you want for the person you love most in the world?"
No.
And I thought, oh my God.
And they also asked, does this feel like love? Or does
Or
this
does it
feel like war? Every argument is a battle. One has to win, one has to lose. So you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? And is it better to be right or to be kind?
And then to decide what you're going to do with it. And the fun part is, I am letting you know I was like about 43 when they taught me this. And I was like, why didn't you teach me this when I was 6? My life could have been so much easier. You know, oh my God. And they said, When the student's ready, the teacher appears, you're getting it now because now's the time for you to get it, because now you will bring it to others. And it will be more meaningful to you. And you'll be able to show them that they, in fact, can turn that around in their lives no matter how old they are.
It's never too late.
Because they don't care. They've told me that. They said, we don't care whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Today's a new day. Right now is a new time. You can, by new choices, create a whole nother flow in your life right now. What do we choose? Before we go any further, they're telling me I need to do something really, really, really important. Uno, dos, tres. All right. So, juicing the energy. Now, so living fully demonstrates our connection to the divine. That's how we know when we're happy with what we are doing, when we're happy in our relationships, when we feel like life is good. Life's going to have stuff in it. Sorry, fact. It's what you do with it and how long you hold on to it that determines whether it served a function and you can learn from it, grow, and do something else to get you different results later on, or want to become a victim. Let me give out the answer to this quiz. Trust me, you don't want to be a victim in anything. Because Jesus Christ gave me a 3-page treatise on being a victim. And I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of that. The Reader's Digest condensed version of that 3-page treatise is, when you become a victim, you get your goodness from somebody else's badness. And you give the illusion of being powerlessness by claiming a superiority over that person. Don't get me wrong. People have terrible stuff happen to them. I had terrible stuff happen to me in my life. You've had terrible stuff happen to you in your life. That doesn't mean you're a victim. It doesn't mean I'm a victim. It means we had terrible stuff happen in our life. And it means we can make a choice not to perpetuate that in this world. To learn from it, to heal from it, to grow from it, and to help other people who we see carrying that same thing find their way home. And home is where the love is. Does it all make sense? Is anything we've said so far untrue?
No.
Does it all resonate with love and light?
Yes.
Now, your own understanding revealing sacred expression by and in loving fully. So when we live fully, we've got this. Life feels good. Yeah, I'm here. Love fully takes it to a whole other realm. Loving fully means we have done this. With everyone, including ourselves. Holding ourselves or others in unforgiveness means judging you or another as being unworthy. And the angels have said, you know, one of the first rules the angels gave us when we first started doing this? They said to us, we're going to bring people to you from all walks of life with all kinds of experience. Judge no one. Got it. And we've pretty much honored that.
Yes, we
Not
have.
even pretty much. We have
honored it.
completely.
Yep.
And we do our best not to judge people. Does that mean there are not people in the political environment right now that doesn't make me want to go like this and bang my head off of this rack because of their behavior? Absolutely not. But I know I can't feel bad enough to make it good. But I also want them to wake up. So instead of sending you simple body part, ankle, I'm a little low there, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You simple ankle, why can't you do something that's good for the entire country, blah, 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 blah. We could do that all day and get ourselves into a froth.
Well, and what kind of energy is that? What are you sending at that person? Will they make a good decision having all this negative stuff flying at them?
Right.
No.
So, in forgiveness, we recognize how much pain must be in a person for them to behave that way? Can we ever hurt them more? Can hurting them more heal them,
No.
make them better? What do we need to do?
Show kindness and love.
You get a cookie and a star. I'm glad you sat right here, sweetheart. She said, show them kindness and love. That's the answer. And Jesus the Christ, when he asked me to do this with someone who was being particularly challenging in my life, actually 2 different people at 2 different times in my life, said, I am literally asking you to love the hell out of them.
It's easier.
Pardon me?
It's easier.
It's absolutely easier then, because you understand
There
that if they
doesn't
could
be
do
a
better,
no.
here's something the angels gave us about 2 months ago, and I love this because it's easy, it's a mnemonic. If you knew better, you'd do better. At any given time in your life, Katie talked about the clue by 4 earlier. And you look back and you say, oh my God, what was I thinking? If you knew better, you do better. You know better now. This is a sign of growth. You can look back and say, duh. When we accept sacred expression through our own understanding to love fully, we hold the place for forgiveness. And we hold the place for something much, much, much so powerful that is so needed in our world. We hold the place for miracles. We hold the place to hold such a level of energy, such a pureness of energy, when you truly step into this. Have you ever been in the presence of someone you know was connected to the divine? Someone who carried that sacredness within them? What does it feel like when you're around them?
Energizing, good.
Energizing, good. What else?
Peaceful.
Peaceful. What else?
Enlightening.
Enlightening, absolutely. All this wonderful stuff. Now wait a minute. That's their energy. How are you picking that up?
Because they're giving it off.
They're giving it off and you're picking it up by recognizing what's being revealed. In order for you to recognize it, you must know it inherently first. That all makes sense?
And the
Wonderful.
good news is that we are hardwired for the good stuff. Who had to teach you that a rainbow was beautiful? Yourself, right? But I don't know anybody to this day that sees a rainbow and doesn't pull the car over and go, ooh, right? From the time we're little and we see that rainbow, we are mesmerized. Why? Because we're hardwired for beauty. We are hardwired for love. We gravitate and orient toward that which is loving, that which is furry and snuggly and warm and inviting and the good stuff. Wow! You almost knocked me over.
That's the idea.
Again. Again. It's in our nature to go toward the good stuff. Nobody now, some people train themselves to go the other way, but they have to work at it,
And for a long time.
and for a very long time. And once they're given the opportunity to go toward that which is loving, that can transform a lifetime of the other stuff in an instant.
Hence the miracle.
It's a brilliant design, thank you, Creator, that love will always overpower fear. Always. You just gotta open the door just a little and let it in.
So the next time you find yourself, just to see what's going on in the world, you flip on the news every now and then, because please don't watch news. But it is a good idea every now and then just to see what's going on in the world so you know. But to send it blessings is what I do that for. That's my intention. Where can I send love and light now that I might not otherwise know about? That's the only reason I watch it. Because, that's the other thing they said to me. How do you feel when you're done watching the news? They said, we want you to use your intuition, your divinity, to really start to pay attention to the choices you make in life. Do any of you ever feel uplifted and really in union and communion after you watch the news?
No.
How do you usually feel?
Ugh.
Why am I alive? The world's going to heck. What's going on? Right. Well, there's a reason for that. They want you to feel that way.
Because it adds to it. It gives it more. It's
Because energy is attractive to itself, so energy creates so that other energy is attracted to it.
And who are you able to control more? Somebody who's afraid or somebody who's got clarity?
Power.
clarity.
Someone who's afraid is
Great.
more easily controlled.
Betcha.
I'm somewhere else. guys.
It's okay.
Okay. You can very easily manipulate people who are afraid. All you have to do is say, I have the answer for you.
They're different, we are not. Let's separate them. Distract them, separate them, confuse them, and then judge them.
No, it's not good.
What we're going to ask you to do, please, and we're going to do it right now. Actually, they're asking me to do it right now. Is we're going to hold the space of love and light for everyone who is in the political office in this country right now. Instead of casting aspersions about the legitimacy of their birth, we are going to hold them in light and love. So, if you would please, just now, we asked beings of love and light, beings of purity, beings of wholeness, in creation, in all that is God, and all that is spirit, and all that is love, and all that is light, to hold with us our intention that this country be bathed in light and love first. That anybody who by their free will choose to align to wholeness, to health, to beauty, to kindness, to union and communion, will find that doors and windows open in their minds and hearts, and that they be healed and have healing energy flow to and through them in their lives in all directions of space and time. That they may have clarity, that they may know peace, that they may know love. We ask that the political leaders in our country, all of them, every one, be bathed in love and in light. We ask for angels and guides who employ healing to attend to them all. If by their free will they choose to align to this, in the slightest way, may they please now be healed. Buffer their decisions in love, that if they make decisions in fear, that it has a minimalized impact on others and on this country. Strengthen us and strengthen all healers of all variety, all across this country, those who create in beauty, the artists and the musicians, teachers, people who provide service to our country. Bless those works and let that field grow and support and sustain us all. May we remember our service to ourselves and to humanity and bring our sacredness, our blessedness, our wholeness forward for all. And so it is, and so be it, and it is done. That's a prayer. Do you think that would make a little bit more of a difference than people sending a bunch of credit people? Do you think if we get enough people, and if you share that kind of intention with people, do you suppose it'll make a difference in them? How do you feel right now holding that kind of energy? Or would you rather watch the news? We can do this. We can do this a person at a time. We can do this a choice at a time. We can do it on the way home with other people on the road. Notice Katie is not making eye contact with me right now.
I know nothing.
And see, the ability to be able to laugh of it dissipates the energy of it.
Yes.
So that's why they want us to laugh more. So we've now come full circle. What did we say was going to happen, and what did Bob say was going to happen? You're going to laugh a bit tonight. Well, you did, but we hope you learned a lot. And we hope you leave here much different than when you walked in. We hope you have more focus. We hope you have more clarity. We hope you have more unity and community in your hearts. What else? Anybody? Love. There you go.
We're
We
being
hope you have
recorded.
more love. And acceptance. We hope you have more acceptance. We hope you have more acceptance for you. Because that's where it all starts. You are so very blessed and so very loved by Spirit. They say that to us again and again. They said, if you could see, and we do, the number of beings that attend to you in your life, you would never, ever doubt. It has been our incredible pleasure and honor to be of service to you this night and to you watching at home this night. May you be blessed in every good way. Thank you for all you do to make our world a better, more wonderful, more sacred, more beautiful, God-filled place. Blessings and peace to you all. Namaste.
Namaste.
Night.
Namaste night. Yeah. Namaste night. Thank you all for being here.